Oh, I have to ask.
Oh,
I have to ask the host to give me permission to record.
okay, that's fine. I should just be able to say yes. Okay, is all good?
Try that again.
Oh, yeah.
Still doing the same thing.
That's fine. I think it's going to be fine, the recording. So,
Oh, you're happy with me not recording?
yeah, that's fine. I think it's recording on my end, and hopefully nothing goes wrong afterwards. It's happened before, and now I'm paranoid.
I am. So just to let you know, our internet can be a bit, our office internet can be a bit choppy. So if at any point that's a problem, just wave at me.
Of course. All right. Should we start with just introducing yourselves, your company, and who you are and what you do?
Sure. My name is Anna Maybank. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Breakroom. Breakroom is the job site that helps you learn about what a job is really like before you take it. So we tell you all of the stuff that a job description misses out. We tell you what a job is really paid. We cut out all of the jargon, and we help you understand what a job might be like on a day-to-day basis and how good that job is compared to other jobs you might want to take.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I've checked out Breakrooms, and I really appreciate the sort of feedback you can get. So that sort of stuff that from employees that you don't really get from actual job descriptions, which they conveniently leave out. So starting with, I got some really good sort of stats from Simon about a day ago, based on sort of a survey in Leeds and Yorkshire. I was just wondering, so if you were doing a survey on retail workers in Leeds, what would the sample size be for that?
Sure. We've had about 9,500 people take our survey in Leeds and Yorkshire. So all of Breakroom's information, how we tell you what a job is really like, is all based on us surveying people who actually do that job. So across the UK, we've had more than 220,000 people use Breakroom to compare their jobs and take our survey. And the data that we've got for Leeds and Yorkshire is based on a sample of 9,500 people from that region.
Brilliant. Sorry, there's a question. So how would you sort of explain the general trend that's been going on with sort of how employees are feeling and sort of, sorry, some banging, how employees are feeling and sort of why there might be stuff, why people might not want to work now, why people are feeling frustrated with work?
So I think the reason for the current UK-wide staff shortage is the pandemic, Brexit, and the quality of jobs. And in September of last year, we had more than 1 million vacancies in the UK. That's the highest number since records began in 20 years. And the data that we've collected shows that a big part of that is due to job quality. So the main trends in job quality are, unsurprisingly, pay. So wages need to rise, but it's not just about your hourly wage. It's also about whether you get paid breaks, whether a company offers more than statutory sick pay. And I should say that all of Breakroom's ratings are focused on frontline roles. So retail, hospitality, social care, logistics, all of the people who were running the country during the pandemic. And so pay is obviously, unsurprisingly, especially with the rising cost of living, just like the number one factor, but it's not all pay. So I think the other big trends are to do with flexibility. Are you getting your shifts in advance? Are you being given flexibility in terms of shift choice? And then also how you're treated by managers. So I think one of the most shocking stats from our survey is that a whole 76% of people who work on the front line say that head office doesn't understand what their day-to-day jobs look like. And I think a big part of that is actually to do with management on the ground as well. And so we also see a lot of negative feedback about how people are managed on a day-to-day basis as well.
Oh, that was a terrific answer. Thank you. So would you just sort of expand on perhaps sort of why you think perhaps management are not quite sure with sort of how workers are treated or how sort of any acknowledgement? Because clearly you must work your way up, so you should really know most of the time.
That's a great question. I think so. The reason that we set up Breakroom was to help bridge the divide between people who work on the front line and people who run a company. And I think for a really long time, partly because a frontline workforce is geographically distributed, they're not next to people running the company every day. That workforce has been undervalued, underappreciated. And I think the pandemic has highlighted how important the frontline workforce is. But the reason there's that dislocation is that often a head office doesn't understand the day-to-day experience of those workers. I think part of what we're doing at Breakroom by crowdsourcing information through our survey is also helping an employer to understand what the day-to-day experience is of their frontline workforce. And ultimately what we're trying to do is improve the quality of jobs and therefore help a business hire people who are more likely to stay and more likely to enjoy that work.
Brilliant. So you've highlighted sort of a lot of issues with sort of the current working culture in UK at the moment. I know sort of it's not within Breakroom's aims, but do you have any suggestions, sort of the solutions or what can be changed?
I mean, top of the list is employers need to improve the quality of their jobs. And we, as we talked about, the survey data that we're collecting gives lots of suggestions for doing that. Top of the list is raise wages. And again, not just your hourly pay, but also think about other pay policies such as paying breaks and offering more than statutory sick pay. But raising wages is hard. There are plenty of companies that are doing that at the moment and working towards paying the real living wage, so paying people enough to live on. But there are easier things to do as well. Things like improving the way that you schedule shifts. There are lots of tools that enable employers now to schedule shifts ahead of time, but also to allow someone to change their shifts if they need to fit around their working lives. And then I think the final thing that's a really practical change that employers could make is to provide better training and support for the people who are actually managing frontline staff on a day-to-day basis. One of the things that workers, people using Breakroom often share about their jobs, and actually a main reason that people quit, is that they feel like they're not treated with respect by the people who are doing things like setting their shifts every week and who they're interacting with on the front line every day. And actually just providing that layer of management with more support and better training about how to be a good supportive manager, I think can make a massive difference to the quality of jobs. So I think, raise wages is obviously the top thing, but the message here is that it's not just about pay. A job is about a range of different things that people are looking for, and there's plenty that employers could do that should be well within the grasp of lots of employers in the country today. So I think there is a lot of scope for employers to improve the quality of their jobs and to address a portion of the labour shortage that we're currently seeing.
Thank you. So this is just sort of off my list of questions that I prepared, but I got a text earlier, but could you maybe so would you say that hospitality has been affected the worst by this, or is there any sort of facts or stats you might want to share?
Yeah, I think care is the one that's really suffering, right? So there are 100,000 care vacancies at the beginning of the year, and the government had to open a visa scheme specifically for care workers. I think care is a great example of the problems that we face in the UK today around labour shortages and around quality work. It's historically been massively undervalued by the government, by industry, by society in general. We undervalue care work. And I think that's where we're talking to employers. Those employers are really struggling to hire workers. And the kind of contrast there in our survey data, we're certainly seeing, lots of challenges with the quality of work in care. But the striking thing is that a lot of people who do care work talk about how much they enjoy it. So I think there's lots of opportunity there again for care providers to where possible, raise wages, but also do a range of other things to better support their existing workers that would attract more people into a job that people say that they find fulfilling and is meaningful and just super important. So I think care work is certainly the industry that we see rated most poorly, but I think it's got a ton of potential to improve.
Well, thank you so much. I think that's all we have time for, but this has been amazing. You guys have been so helpful.
No worries.
Yeah, I think that would be it. So well, thank you. I hope you have a lovely day.
Fantastic. Let Simon know if you need anything more from us. Always happy to talk about stuff now or into the future. Happy to provide extra stats on Leeds.
I will do it. I think I might just turn this into an actual written article instead of a video as well. But yeah, thank you so much. I'll reach out.
Awesome. Thanks, Hassan. Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers. Bye.